It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get onto you and find the things that you do will make you feel alright. You know, missing. I haven't played this in like 20 years or so, and I still remember it. Probably not the right chords, but that's the chords that I learned when I was 11. I was writing an article in my blog today in Norwegian about my musical awakening, what I grew up with, and the different parts of my life, how music has colored those. Some of my earliest awakening was with the Beatles, which I grew up with from a young age. I was born in 1970, so that would be the same year that the Beatles stopped. I came to think that I was making this scrapbook, pictures with Beatles from different magazines, and I took a look around, and lo and behold, I actually have it still after almost 40 years. So I'm going to show it to you, and we can look through it. I think it's going to be a bit fun. There's some sort of collection card. I decorated this with, and I took I read magazines, and every time I found a picture of the Beatles, I cut it out and put it in this scrapbook. And it was like 1980, I guess, when I was about 10. Because look, this is this is an article about the John Lennon murder, and that was in December 1980. So I guess this is probably made in 1981 then, maybe even 1982. Of course, it was a work in progress, so this was made in just is there any, maybe there's a this is from a Norwegian magazine called The Nye, the story about the Beatles. Pictures and pictures. It's probably, most of these pictures are probably from that magazine, The Nye. And to think of it, it's like, it's only, if this is 1981, 1982, then it's just 11 or 12 years after the Beatles was history. And this is great. I had such a nice high handwriting, didn't I? Yeah, well, I was saying that this was like 11 or 12 years after the Beatles was history, and it felt like a long time ago then, but it's like, now it's 2019, that's like 12 years ago, that's 2007. It's seems like yesterday. As a child, of course, it's much longer. Okay, stopped right there. I love this script. And imagine too that I have it, and it's quite good condition after 40 years almost. So there you see, it's sort of mind blowing for me uh, to see that and think that it's 40 years ago. I'm pushing 50 now, and but in my head, it's in one way it's a long time ago, but I look when I have this in my arm, in my hands, and I look through it. It doesn't feel that long ago. So it's quite special actually, and the impact that the Beatles have had on my life, and how the music continues to color my life is amazing.